Hey everybody, welcome to the latest episode of the Dollar Bin Bandits, the only podcast with old friends discussing old comics with the people that created them. I'm Joe Marcello, joined as always by my partners in crime, Orrin Phillips
Hey, everybody.
and Mike Farah.
Good evening.
Well, it's Wednesday, so that means you're listening to our latest and greatest episode. Some people call it Hump Day, some people call it Comic Book Day. We call it Dollar Bin Bandit Day. So you're going to be listening to the latest episode where we got the chance to speak to comic book artist Keith Williams. This is a guy who has done a really interesting spread of comics. Best way I could say it. He's worked on stuff from Warlock, Impulse, Superman, just to name a few. And just a little tidbit of information. The guy did a commission that I purchased of Wolverine while he was sitting in traffic. And for those of you who have YouTube and are looking at this on the webcast, this is that commission. Pretty damn cool, right? Those of you who have the podcast and you're listening to it, sorry.
Take our word for it.
Take our word for it. It's cool.
Yeah, we brought up in the interview, and one of the things I was most excited about was his work on the USAgent miniseries, which I liked a lot, which I think kind of fleshed out the character, and his art in it was fantastic. And it's so cool because he was really excited to talk about it too. Still has that passion for the business.
So what I heard that really piqued my interest was his work with Will Eisner and, the influence that Eisner had on him. And so that's always great to hear when someone has been under the tutelage of a master. And it certainly sounds like he was. And also, he did a big 10-year run on the Phantom comic strip. And it's always interesting to dig into those artists that have done both the comic books and comic strips and trying to understand the differences between the two and what they can bring to each medium. So I definitely thought that was a highlight. So let's get to it. This is Keith Williams.
How are you, sir?
Hey, how you doing, guys? Hi, Joe. Hi, Orrin.
Hey,
how you doing, sir?
Thank you so much for doing this. Orrin, by all means, if you want to kick it off.
Sure. I want to start because I think it's absolutely awesome that you learned your craft with Will Eisner as your teacher.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like Babe Ruth teaching someone batting practice. How was that experience? How did that all come together?
It was a great experience. That was school visual arts. I was like trying to decide what school I wanted to go to for art in college, and there were a few of them. There was Pratt, Parsons, places like that. But school visual arts had Will Eisner. So I really put like all of my focus into going to that school. And I got without a scholarship actually. I just said, hey, well, this is where this guy is. That's what I want to do. So, but it wasn't that easy to get into his class. I had to, say hi to him. The first time I tried to, I talked to him about it and said that, well, not really sure. He had enough people in his class already and all that other stuff. I was just very persistent, and I think it was one day that I either ran. I'm trying to remember if it was on the stairs or if it was in his classroom. But I brought him his graphic novel, Contract with God. I think it was like one of the first graphic novels, and I asked him to sign it for me. I could tell him I was a huge fan. And like I said, I would really love to be in your class, and he signed it. And while he was signing it, he said, see, that's how you get into my class. By saying how much you love his stuff. And sure enough, next term I was in his class. So that worked out fine for me. And it was a great experience because he knows not just the artistic end, but also the business end of comics. He's, he's had his own company, iWorks, I think. I think that's what it's called. And he did a lot of advertising and other stuff besides the Spirit. And he would even get some of the guys that were in his class and would bring them, like would hire them to do work with him, like in that company. Unfortunately, I was not that good to do that. I was still really learning my craft and kind of wondering which way I was going to go. I was like writing and also trying to be a penciler at the same time. And at the time that I showed them one of my pieces, was like maybe like I don't know, 8-page story of a character that I created, and I had somebody else pencil it for me, a friend of mine, and I wrote it. And he says, "You know what? You're really good at writing." Which I took as him saying that I wasn't really ready to be a penciler at the time. So I just, I really got back to work on that. But he really was a person that when we would come into his class and he would ask us what's new in comics and what's going on. But the thing is that whenever we were telling him this stuff, I always in the back of my mind knew that he already knew what was going on. This was Will Eisner, man. He already knew what was going on, And but it was real. He was really nice. The other thing that he would do when we would show him artwork is that he would take a very, very large piece of lead, pencil lead, and he would rework some of the stuff that we've drawn on the page. And us being, thinking that we did masterpieces, we would freak out and say, "Will, what are you doing? Don't do that. Don't draw on our stuff." When in reality, it would have been great if he did, because then we would have had original Will Eisner pieces. But we weren't. I don't know. We weren't really thinking about that at the moment in time, and so we decided one day to bring him a pad of vellum, so that he could use that as tracing paper to draw over. If he wanted to show his corrections, he didn't have to go onto our artwork while he was teaching us. I was like, but he was always a great guy. He helped me out when a few years after, a bunch of years after I was in his class, to make the decision if I was going to do the Phantom or not. I was working at Marvel still at the time, and I was wondering if would be smart to do like a newspaper comic strip character at the same time, which is a lot of work, But he said to me, if you can do it, you should do it.
Right.
You should do it. And he was the guy that, like after that, I made the phone call and said, yeah, I'll do it. I'll go and do it.
That's pretty awesome.
Do the Phantom. Yeah.
What do you think is one thing that you learned from his class or from his style that you kept with you throughout your drawing and your career?
I try to think, even though it's storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
Storytelling. He's an amazing storyteller. I mean, there's this one scene that I always remember where, not totally remember, but it involved dripping water. And the timing of the water, dripping, and the scene that was going on behind the dripping, it was just fantastic. I mean, who thinks of these things? It's amazing. His shadows, I love the way he renders his figures, and I try to do that. I try to. I'm still learning myself. I was an inker more than I was a penciler, so I was like inking for like over 25 years or something like that before I actually went back to doing pencil.
Right.
So I'm still learning that craft again. Yeah. But yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's
sorry.
I think it's such a cool. If you're gonna learn from someone, learn from the best. And
absolutely.
What an opportunity you have, and that's awesome.
Yes. And seeing original pages from certain things that he would do later on, it was a dream. It was incredible, and the other guys in the class were absolutely fantastic too.
So one question I have is, as an artist, prior to being in school, who were some of your artistic influences, whether in comics or just in art in general?
Okay. Like Neil Adams, John Buscema, John Romita. I was a Romita Raider for about a year and a half, something like that at Marvel, and he really taught me a lot. Mike Esposito, he was the first guy that I did backgrounds for once I worked at Marvel Comics. Oh gosh, this Jim Starlin. There's just so many. Joseph Rubinstein, Dick Giordano, Carmine Infantino. I could go on. Joe Giella. George Olsen, who I worked with on the Phantom. Gosh, yeah. There's so many people. John Byrne, of course, if I didn't name him already.
Yeah.
Yeah. But with a lot of my inking, I guess like Joe Sennett was really great in helping me out, trying to figure out, like my inks. I tried to really ink like him for a while, again, and I just looking at his stuff while I was doing my backgrounds. Hi. While I was doing my backgrounds was a real help to me.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about that because I doing some research on you. You learned from Joe Sennett, Don Perlin. What was the Marvel?
Don Perlin, yes.
Yeah, what was the Marvel learning tree like for you? Working with those guys and the experiences you got from it.
Well, it's like, I guess some of it was like osmosis. Like you're working on the stuff, and it kind of like you kind of like remember, it stays in your head. And when you do get the chance to like work on something else, like you try and put a little bit of that in there, and hope, and like it may not turn out right the first time. You just keep going at it, and Tom Palmer also. He's another incredible inker, and I love his brush strokes. I love his just his line work is incredible. But I can say that about all of them. But I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I was saying because Joe Sennett. I mean, talk about a guy who worked with the best, and that's two people now that you got to learn from. And what were some of the things that he talked about with you as far as inking, as far as color and the whole process?
Well, I got to tell you, with Joe Sennett, it was basically when I was working with him, he would send me the artwork to my home. I'd be getting Federal Express like almost like every other day or week with him, and I wasn't really talking to him too much. That's the thing. It was basically his artwork, what he had on the page. When he sent it to me. Oh, when he would send me to work, he would send it to me with a check already on there, so I couldn't even like say no when I was, when I was working. We're gonna. I'm doing the work. no problem. But it was just looking at his line weights and how he did his work. That's basically what I studied from. It wasn't until a little later that I was actually talking to him and on the phone and stuff, and that was getting close to the time that I was doing my own stuff. Right. But it's basically just looking at the artwork. Same thing with looking at John Romita's artwork and all the other guys. It was just looking at it and trying to break it down in your mind. Like how they went about it, and then also I did have a chance to sit and watch John as he was working. Up at Marvel when he was art director. So that helped also.
So a question I had is, it pertains to Spider-Man, specifically about the inking and editing. Was there like a particular color scheme you felt worked best for him?
For Spider-Man?
Yeah.
As in, oh God, yeah. Are you talking about those weird number letter things like R2 and the basic colors that you would use if you were doing Doc Martin ink, color ink?
Well, not that technical.
Like that. That's what we were doing back then.
Yeah.
But, yeah. but I could never understand that stuff.
Yeah, I don't know.
Red is red. Blue
is
blue. And that's what you put down on Spider-Man, and like I couldn't, because with colorists, they would have all the little symbols of like YR2 and like R1, all this other stuff, all off on the side, so that I guess the printer would know what colors it was supposed to be on there, so it would look right. So me as a colorist, I started learning that after I wasn't getting too many inking assignments, and I was learning how to do my own penciling and learning how to ink my own stuff. And I said, well, I can't afford to go and ask somebody to color it for me, so I would do it on Photoshop.
Okay.
Or I would use Copic markers, to do the coloring myself, basically.
Did you have it? And this is a question that I've asked a couple of people who have started in the traditional pen and paper, tactile type of medium, transitioning to more technical mediums like Photoshop and things like that. Did you have, what was that transition like for you? I know some people really have a hard time with it. And look, I'm certainly not an artist, but I did take a fair amount of art classes in my time, and I've done both. And I got to tell you, I can't for the life of me use a stupid pen on the computer because it just feels so unnatural.
Yeah, it's not paper. Yeah. I know exactly. And no matter what they say to you, like what nib you use, what you put over the screen or whatever it is, it still doesn't have the same feeling as, working on real paper.
Right.
Believe me, the whole thing with Photoshop, with being an inker, it's kind of unfortunate thing. I mean, it's progress, but also it made inkers less viable, I guess, because a lot of the pencilers would either think, or they could actually do their pencils to the point where it actually looks like ink. You use Photoshop, you darken the pencils, and you don't need an inker to work on them. But what an inker would usually do is would bring out some of the stuff that maybe the penciler didn't have or couldn't finish, or it's not just, we're not just there to just make the stuff black so that the printer can print it. We're there to enhance it, in our own ways, and which and for a long time that's what you saw was basically an inker's work over the pencil, or not actually the pencil, but the inker, doing the finished work. But going that way, to me, it helped me out a lot when it came to doing penciling, because with that, lots of undos, lots of easy erasing and stuff like that. You could blow something up if the head's too small. You can make it larger. You can make it smaller. You can do so. There's a lot of that, and especially if you're working straight on, like I have a Cintiq 22 HD. It's one of those. But you can draw right on it. So that helped me out a lot with relearning how to draw again. I still, even when I use the Cintiq, I only use it to rough out what I want to do. And then after that, I print it out on a printer and I light box it.
Okay.
And then I do my finishes that way. I will actually repencil it, maybe add a few things that I didn't think of, while it was on the computer. And then after that, I would ink it and then color it, like if somebody wanted it to be colored for commission or whatever. Yeah.
You fully immersed yourself in both mediums, I'd say.
Yeah. I'll tell you, they're great tools, but I think that the thing is that you have to learn how to do it the organic way first.
Right.
Okay, wait a minute. Let me get rid of this. Goodbye. Okay. I had something on my screen. Anyway, it's to learn the organic way. Learn with a pencil. learn with a quill pen, Hunt 102 pen point, use your Winsor Newton, like Series 7, number 2, number 3 brushes or whatever. Do it that way too. And then once you get that, then you could like just go and explore everything else. Like at least you'll have that knowledge. Like how to do things. Like the way. Like I feel like it was really meant to be done. But
right.
Like I said, you could. Like once you learn that, go off and do your other stuff. Or do the computer stuff.
So back to the Spider-Man. Sorry, I didn't mean to go off on a tangent about technology, but it popped in there, and before I forgot, I wanted to ask because I just find that stuff really interesting. But did you find it to be tough editing books since, like, as it pertains to Spider-Man, since there was Amazing and Web of Spider-Man, that keeping the stories in the same timeline?
Oh, well, it was interesting when we were doing those books. Jim had an idea, Jim Owsley, that Spider-Man would be action, I believe, and Spectacular Spider-Man was Peter Parker, so it was more like Peter Parker and what was going on with them, like what was going on with his friends and his family and stuff like that. And Web of Spider-Man, what the heck was Web of Spider-Man? I think it was
a mix of both.
Yeah, I think it was. I think that's probably what it was. Like a whole web mixture stuck together of stuff. But but they all did have, like the storylines kind of went smoothly between them. So they all had their own story, I guess. Trying to remember exactly how that ran. They did basically have their own kind of story. They weren't totally connected. Yeah,
at a very high level, because I know as it pertains, like, and I'm going to relate it to Superman because of the obvious behind me. I know, like, they did similar things. Action Comics versus Superman would do similar things, separate stories, but at a high level they would be connected. So if something pivotal happened to him, it will bleed over into the other titles.
Well, that's true, because at the time there was Secret Wars.
Okay, well, that's a big deal.
Yeah, we were, and the black costume.
Yeah, I heard something about that. That might be something.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it'll ever work, but yeah. But yeah, we had all that going on. So yeah, that did travel, like between, like all the storylines, like what was going on with him and the costume and all of that. And as a matter of fact, I guess it was the first issue of Web of Spider-Man where he actually got the costume off him with the church bells, whatever it was. Yeah, so it does sort of like, they do kind of interlace, but they're not totally, like cemented, so that, if you're forced. I don't know how it is now. Might be, because they have so many special events now that I don't know if they have time. Yeah,
I can't keep up with everything. Yeah. I find myself getting further and further behind with all the events, and then I'm not buying as much of the new stuff because, I mean, I like it. Don't get me wrong. I really, really like it, and I will always buy them. But, there was a time when, I was younger and I would just get, stacks of stuff or everything I can get my hands on it. But it's so hard in terms of continuity and price. It's just impossible to keep up with it. And, if my son jumps in again, I can't read anything. So,
I understand, like, price is kind of like the thing for me too. I just can't buy all the books. I was of the kids that used to buy the books for 12 cents each, way back then. Yep. So, but and I always worry because, kids, you want to get more kids, new kids to get interested in comics, and I don't know. You got to pay $8.
Yeah, they're clearly not marketing comics to kids. They're marketing comics to, us, people of our age who have the somewhat disposable income.
Yeah, right. But I would wish that, I mean, you need new blood. I would hope that they would try to get new readers and so yeah.
So you mentioned working with John Byrne, which was absolutely amazing. Let's see, what does I have in my notes here? What are your thoughts on the book and working in teams in terms of inking teams as you did?
Oh wow! Well, working with John, I was a background artist at the time, working on Alpha Flight and the Hulk. Yeah. Right after when he changed over, and what was it? It was Mark Grunwald who got me the gig actually, and I found John's stuff to be amazing. He was I think experimenting again. He was doing a very light line weight on the foreground figures, which kind of made it a little difficult for me to get even lighter, so that it could make his character, make the foreground characters pop out, because that was one of the things that was taught to us, that backgrounds, it's got to fall into the background, which means that they got to have sort of a dead weight, kind of light line around it, so that the characters in the foreground have a slightly heavier line, and it'll sort of give you more of a three-dimensional or two-dimensional, whatever kind of look to it, make it look interesting. You could follow what's going on in the page. But yeah, he got into a very interesting phase, and so I had to learn how to get even thinner. It's a lot of fun. But I love working on his stuff, and his inks were already there, his artwork was already there, and once again it was like a learning experience, just looking at what he was doing, his storytelling and stuff. And he did something that no other artist has ever done for me, or at the time, or background artist, which was put my name into the book. That'd say Keith Williams background inks. Or when I was at DC with him, and it would have John Byrne, Keith Williams, saying, I'm just doing a freaking background for you, John. I mean, it's nice. It's very nice of you, man. I'm like, I was blown away by it. And he would do that, and also worked it out so that I would get royalties on the books that I would do with him. So on Alpha Flight, if they redo an Alpha Flight trade paperback, or Hulk, or Action Comics, has one of our stories in there, for a trade paperback, I would be getting something. And he didn't have to do that either.
That's fantastic.
So yeah, it was. I don't know what to say. I did try to do the same thing every once in a while, but nothing like John. That was very, always grateful to him for doing that for me.
Did you feel pressure working on characters like Superman when you're working with John?
Yeah.
I mean, did you? Stupid question. Working on an 80-year-old character that's part of the American lexicon and pop culture in every way, shape, and form. Any pressure?
Oh please! Holy cow! Scared to death every week, every time when the pages came to me, and I had to work over his stuff. It's like, am I going to have my job next week? Is it looking good enough? Is it okay? Am I doing it fast enough? Am I getting it in on time? Am I working fast enough but still putting out quality stuff? Is it, what does John think about me? No, yeah, it was crazy.
So it was stress free, I'm assuming.
Yes. Yeah, it is right now. As a matter of fact. Yeah. Of course it was. Working on Superman. Holy cow. Working on Spider-Man.
Yeah, I mean, and any of the characters that
any of these guys.
on,
Good grief. You know, I mean, these are all the things that I read when I was a kid. You know, like, and to think of, it's like saying, one day I'm going to do this. You know, I'm going to do this one day. You know, and but never thinking that it could really happen. You know, but you know, it's just, yeah, it's mind blowing. Yeah. God.
When you jumped to DC, did you feel like, did you have to change your style at all, or was it very much you could do what you've been doing?
Fortunately, you know, John didn't change his style. John's John, and he does what John does.
Right.
So you know, like I just went along with whatever he had. His line work was a little different. You know, maybe a little heavier. You know, like and he wasn't really inking most of. Well, yeah, he was inking the ones for action. I did do an issue of Superman with Terry Austin.
Okay.
Inking it, so I worked over Terry, and you know, so I had to make sure that my stuff sort of like melded with his. Right. You know, like the way his style was, it's a little bit more mechanical. You know, so yeah, so I had to, you know, maybe do that. But when it comes to the company, it wasn't really much of a difference.
All right, that's cool. At
least not to me.
Right, because you hear some stories that, you know, Marvel was kind of like a clubhouse, and DC was a place of business.
Well, yeah. Well, that, yeah. I guess so. Yeah.
So culture-wise, there was a bit of a difference.
Yeah, Marvel felt more like a mom and pop shop, and we'd be running around doing crazy things, you know. But we always got the work done. But you know, you blow off steam, you know, and you know, you have some fun. And,
right.
You know, fortunately, that, you know, like with DC, I wasn't really up in the offices as much.
Okay.
You know, so I couldn't, you know, but it felt a little bit more, you know, I guess straight laced. Right. I guess. Right. Yeah.
One thing with DC, and it's one of my favorite things you did here. It's
Impact.
Right, with Dan Jurgens, you did this. I want to ask about Impact because I dug they were kind of like old school comics. You know, I think they took it from the Archie line.
Yeah.
They had the bad luck of coming out the same time as Image, and I think they kind of got lost in the shuffle. What was when you were there? What was the mindset for Image? What was the plan for it? I'm sorry, for Impact. What was the plan for it while you were there?
Well, Jim Owsley was actually the editor at the time for those books, and he hired me to do the covers. I guess he wanted it to be, you know, like action, you know, just like really cool. Bring these characters that were, you know, like in Archie and stuff like that. And they were kind of, you know, I mean, they were nice. I read them when they were at Archie, but you know, they had kind of like a more quiet feel to them, you know. Back then it was, you know, like there was action, but it wasn't like Marvel. It wasn't like DC, you know, like there was something else, you know.
It was more subdued.
Yeah, I think so. That's what it was. And I think what Jim wanted to do was, who is Christopher Priest now? The son. Forget Jim Owsley is now Christopher Priest. But he, I think he wanted it to be more action oriented and more towards the lines of, you know, like the rest of the DC, you know, like universe. While making another universe, which was Impact, you know, like I guess it was Image that probably did overshadow it. Yeah, they did come out around the same time.
Yeah, they had similar names, and it was.
Yeah, that didn't help either. But no, I love the character, and I loved working over Dan Jurgens. That was like the only chance I had to work with him. And his stuff is always incredible, and I always loved him on Superman. So you know, these are like I geek out on the guys that I work on and stuff. And some of these guys I still can't even like really bring myself to talk because I think I sound like an idiot.
But you helped their work. I mean, what you did helped their work so much.
Hold it. Wait.
Oh.
The power went off.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay, hang on. Yeah. Okay.
You're back.
Yeah, I can hear you now. Okay, there you
All
go.
right.
Yeah,
I was just
sorry.
saying what
Go ahead.
you did helped their work so much too. You know, for their popularity, it's a lot because of work you did with it as well.
I hope so. You know, like I really do. Hold on. I don't
All
think I ever use this now. Okay. Just figures. Okay.
This is why we can edit.
Yeah, I'm gonna just like real. Yeah, I forget to charge my stupid headphones. Okay, that's my fault. Anyway, but yeah, thank you. You know, I thank you. You know, like I hope that like when I work over these guys, you know, like pencils, that I'm not hurting them in any kind of shape or form, and that they would like to have me work with them again. You know, like if possible. You know. Yeah, it's you know, like I said, I geek out. I mean, my God, I working with John Byrne. I remember him from Rod 2000. You know, like I picked up all those books when he was at Charlton, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I picked up all those books, man. And you know, like everybody else that I worked on, been in the business for a while.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, that's what I was going to ask this later on, but I'll ask it now. What's a moment for you where you were like, dang, this is really happening? Like, I'm working with this person. I'm having a conversation with this person, because you're a comic fan and now you're in the world of comics and you're interacting with these folks.
Wow. It's like, first, you know, you're nervous and you're talking, but you see, but they're nice. They're nice guys, you know. They are, and after a while, you kind of, you know, like it's just like you're talking to a friend, you know, like it gets to that feeling, you know, and then you're not too, you know, like nervous anymore, and then, you know, you still think of them as that incredible, you know, like artist, but then you're also thinking of them as a person,
Right.
you know, and yeah, and so yeah, it's yeah, that's the way it felt. You know, like I don't know how they felt about me, you know, like, but
Hey,
but
if you got to work with these big names, they must have thought pretty highly of you.
Oh,
So, yeah.
I just hope that, you know, like when I worked with them, that they, like I said, that they liked what I did, basically, you know, and they do talk to me, so I guess I did okay.
Doing all right.
And nobody tried to kill me, so I guess I'm all right.
So you can get through the day with that. You're having a good day.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to jump to the Phantom, because growing up, I used to watch Defenders of the Earth cartoon.
Oh, yeah.
Phantom and Flash Gordon, Mandrake, Lothar. Getting to work on such an iconic character. Yeah. How was it? Did you approach them? Did they approach you?
It was really funny. I was just finished working on Web of Spider-Man, and Danny Fingeroff, who's the editor at the time, said that he got a phone call from Jay Kennedy, who was the art director, I guess, of the comic strips of King Features, right. That they needed somebody to help on inking the Phantom, because Cy Barry was leaving. Okay. He was retiring. Mm-hmm. And this was in 1995. And asked me if I was interested in doing it. And I said, yeah. And like I said, you know, like I did talk to Will Eisner about it, and he said, you know, like, hey, if you have time, you could do it, you know, like do it, you know, like it all sounds good, you know. So yeah. So I went to Jay Kennedy, who, you know, like I showed him my work, and he said that it looks great, but you got to show it to Lee Falk. Okay. And I said, okay. Lee Falk. Okay, well, I know this guy. You know, I know who he is. I said, you know, but I didn't really know the Phantom too well at the time. Right. You know, because it's not really here in the United States as much as it is overseas. Right. So, you know, like, but I was still scared to death. But I took my portfolio over to Lee's apartment, which was across the street from Hayden's Planetarium, or the Rose Planetarium, whatever you want to call it. Off Central Park West. Yeah. Went into the building. The guard there showed me to an elevator, and the elevator took me straight up to his floor, to an alcove that was just his. I think it was on the 6th floor, and it was just his alcove. Like the elevator. Just there was no other doors. There was a little alcove with a poster of the Phantom, I guess, in a frame on the side, on the right hand side. And I ring the doorbell, and then Lee's there in like a robe, kind of like, smoking jacket, smoking jacket, who knows? But anyway, and he brings me in and takes me into the living room, and I mean, it's a nice living room, and out looking out the window, you can see Central Park, and he has like this incredible view, and you can see the planetarium and stuff like that. He's on like 81st, 82nd, somewhere in there, 81st Street, I think it was. Yeah, and and it was like absolutely amazing. So yeah, I'm not intimidated much, but
she's really roughing it, I guess.
Oh. We talked for a little bit. I showed him my artwork. He was really, like happy with what he saw, and he asked me what I did, like at Marvel, and I told him, like I recently was doing Web of Spider-Man, and he goes, "Oh, spiders, like I hate spiders." And I went, "Ooh, I think I lost the job." yeah, I went, yeah. But no, fortunately, he just has a thing. He had a thing with spiders. So, but no, he thought that like what I had was good, and he let me do some like samples. Did them, showed it to Jay, and I got the job.
That's all.
So I was able to meet with Lee two more times before he died.
Okay. What do you think it is about
yeah.
the character that, because I mean, Marvel had Defenders of the Earth for the Star line for a couple issues, but it stopped with that. It never got picked up again. What do you think is about those characters that they just didn't want to touch, or they just felt like they were too old?
Wow, the Phantom was handed over to so many different people.
Right.
He went to Marvel, went to DC, he went to, I forgot there's a few other places it's gone.
I thought Charlton had it for a while too, or they had the reprints for a bit. Yeah.
Right. It might be that. I don't know. It's like, I guess for the Phantom, American audiences just aren't really into it as much. They're very much into it in Australia, Norway, New Zealand, like Denmark, all those, country, England, they love it. They love it there. But I don't know. For some strange, I think we're more into like the Beetle Bailey, like at the time, and or Al Cap, stuff. Dick Tracy and all that. But you see, even that's sort of like, like quieting down. It's not as many newspapers as it used to be in the United States. So, I guess we're just not,
Still an iconic character, and the part about it is, you got the blessing of Will Eisner to then talk to Lee Falk. I mean,
I know.
Quite the combination of people to.
I don't know. I feel like a Forrest Gump of comics, I guess. I don't know. Sometimes, but it's mind blowing. And I feel very fortunate that that these things happened
right
the way they did to me. Wouldn't have it any other way, really.
And the other thing I want to bring up is we're Facebook friends. I see the drawings you do on Facebook. Like, you're a hell of an artist. You're a hell of a drawer. Like, do you ever wish you had the chance to do that, on the Marvel and DC, or were you happy with the inking and stuff?
I'm very happy with the inking stuff that I've done. Yeah, like all the people that I worked with, I'm really happy with that. It's like I would have liked to have tried,
Right.
you know, if I had the chance. The only time that I've actually had something of mine that was drawn was at Marvel, and that was in the Marvel universe. The books they had from A to Z of the
The
Marvel
handbooks.
character, yeah, the handbooks, yes. And I did the scrolls. I did a male scroll and a female scroll,
All right.
and it was inked by Joe Rubenstein. So yeah,
Wow. Not bad at all.
what you know? So like, and then I think I did one other thing that was a hand reaching for a telephone. I think for Marvel Age. I think I did that. Yeah, that might have been the other thing, the only other thing that I did that was really pencils. I always had a thing, like about backgrounds, like I don't mind working over other people, like doing backgrounds like buildings, stuff like that. Me doing it was like a thing that but I've been trying to teach myself that too lately, getting into that, like now. But like at the time, yeah, I would have liked to have tried.
I think it would have been pretty darn cool.
Yeah.
Are there any books you wish you could have worked on that you didn't, or?
Let's see. Batman. Didn't do Batman. I actually inked a full Superman story, which I was really happy about. Green Lantern. What else? What other characters? Spectre, because I loved Spectre at the time. That stuff was great. And I know I'm mostly talking about DC characters.
I'm fine with that. Just
he's
so you know.
He's a big DC guy.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, Green Lantern too. Perfect.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. No, like geez, like anything that I didn't really touch, I would have loved to have worked on any of the characters.
Right.
Any of them is great. I'm just happy, like that I was, allowed to do as many that I did.
Yeah, definitely. And now that, go ahead.
Sorry. No. Please. Yeah.
I just ask a quick question. Things seem like they're looking up. Comic-Cons are coming back.
Thank God.
For you, yeah. How has it been for you? I mean, last year was rough. It's just full of excitement to get back out there. With the
But even last year I was doing stuff though. I was going to like small shows. They were really some are really small. Some again some other ones like I went, but they really made sure that everybody was going to be safe. Like as safe as they could be. Wearing masks. They had like stations where you can go and get the hand sanitizer and stuff like that. Make sure the kids got it also. Right. And just that everybody wore a mask and so yeah, I did do a few shows in 2020. Okay. But yeah, now it's absolutely amazing. It's not back to the way it was. I don't know if it ever will be. Right. Like I don't know how they're gonna do things like the New York Comic Con and stuff like that. But like I'm sure that they're working on it. And, gonna figure out the best way around it. Maybe by that time things will be even better. So I got that to look forward to. I'm doing shows. I'm doing shows this weekend. As a matter of fact, Super Show in Long Island and New Jersey Comic Fest. Okay. Like in New Jersey at One Pal Drive, which seems to be the place that everybody's going to now. that is the place to go to for comic books. So
pretty awesome.
Yeah. So like I'm hoping that I got a feeling that things are never gonna get really back to the way it was, but it's going in the right direction, and everybody is so happy. Right. When they come to the shows, they're so happy because it's something else to do, so
big time.
And a lot of the fans really do miss it, and we miss it a lot. We miss the fans. So
right.
How does it feel for you to see characters that you've touched, worked on, been a part of to see them on TV now. I'm thinking of like USAgent and things like that.
Yeah, USAgent. That last. Oh, I don't know if everybody's seen the shows.
It's been out long enough. If they haven't, it's their fault. Forget it.
But the last episode, he was in the outfit. He was in the costume.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was absolutely incredible. I've done two 4-issue miniseries of USAgent, and I just couldn't believe it when I saw that. I worked on the Eternals also, so it's like every once in a while they send a trade paperback over to me because like whatever's coming out at the time, it's like wow,
Do you have any idea what that movie's about? Because we don't.
I have no idea, and I don't know.
It's the most beautiful trailer I've ever seen, but I don't know what it's about.
I love it.
Yeah.
But wow, good on them keeping a secret, man.
Yeah, I mean, you can get that many A-list stars just looking off into the distance. I mean, woo!
I have no idea. I can't wait. I can't wait to see it. Hey, I was crying during Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. Come on, especially at the end when he was swinging around and everything. He was doing all the poses.
Yeah.
Oh my God, look at that! Oh, beautiful stuff. The Phantom.
Yeah.
When that movie came out, that was amazing. And Billy Zane was the Phantom because that's just the way he was when we were doing the strips.
Right.
Had that same kind of demeanor. It was. He was great, and all the other, all the other characters. I just love it. I'm glad I'm still alive to see.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned USAgent. I had that written down. I totally forgot. I'm gonna have a geek out moment now because I have the series you did, and I love it. And I want to get your opinion because I always liked USAgent. I just thought he was a hard ass, but I didn't think he was a jerk. I didn't think he was, someone with ulterior motives right there. I just think he was a hard charger, different from Captain America. He wasn't going to ask questions. He was just going to get the job done. What are your impressions of USAgent? Because you worked on him. What did you think of as a character?
Oh, geez, I like you said, he was sort of almost for a little bit. I was thinking he was sort of like Guy Gardner of Marvel Comics.
Yeah.
Like that guy to just jump in, say things, that other people wouldn't say, and and insult people and things. But the thing is that he was also a patriot. He believed in
right
what he was doing. He's not a bad guy. He's just not Captain America.
Right.
He's not the attaboy. Go get him.
Right.
Red, white, and blue, guy. He has shades of gray.
Right.
Or black, depending on the suit. No.
Okay. Like any other normal human being. Yeah.
Right.
He has shades of gray. And if he feels like he has to do something in a certain way because it'll get him to his objective, well, there you go.
Right. But like you saw in the miniseries you did, like he had a brother who had all sorts of, there was problems with that. Like he had a lot of family problems. He had a lot of darkness.
Yeah.
More than Captain America did.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's what kind of shaped him. And that's, I liked Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but when they just kind of made him out to be kind of a nuisance or kind of, they painted him sort of a bad guy. I'm like, but this is not really who he is.
Right. Yeah. I'm hoping that when they do his own show, which it feels like they might be doing either that or he'll be back in Captain America Winter Soldier, because there's that whole backstory now, with Madam Hydra.
Yeah, which was awesome.
We'll see how this goes, but I really think that in reality he is a good person. They if you do remember though, you take the super soldier formula, it enhances what you were already, and Steve Rogers was like pure, totally pure. Whereas, like I said, he has grays. He has grays in him, and and he was a soldier just like Steve, but it's different. He did more it feels like more dark arts,
Yeah,
kind
you
of like
saw more
wet
things.
work kind of
Yeah.
stuff,
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. And aesthetically, I love that costume.
Yes.
The black and the red, and when he had the
Yeah.
shield with the black around it, and the
Oh, please.
dude,
Please, I'm thinking of things with black backgrounds and him in the black and the silhouette and just seeing the red and the white and the star. Like I those I guess looks so cool.
How was that to ink that cover? Because like you said, it's the shadow and there's like a dark behind it, but you still see the silhouette.
Well, yeah, it's well MC Wyman.
Mhm.
He was the penciler on the book, and he sort of had a style that was like John December.
Okay.
And I just really loved it. Like as a matter of fact, wait a minute, just a second.
All right.
Just happen to have it here.
Ah, look at that. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, they sent me a copy, so I guess.
Like,
Yeah, so
that's
that cover.
awesome.
Yeah, that was me inking MC Wyman on it. But like I loved, like his penciling in there, and I just said, well, I'm following this right out the window, because he put down everything, like sometimes like some pencilers, they give you a little leadway, and you can put in like a lot of your own stuff, but he basically had just about everything in there, like I may have done a few things here and there, but like you said, I love the costume, like I love the way the character worked in there. I love it's
just a cool character. I'm glad.
Yeah, it's just great.
And
it's like doing blacks
Mhm.
on a person, like, and getting the musculature and everything. That's kind of weird, because like almost in reality, you wouldn't really see that on,
Right.
on a real person that's wearing spandex and a black stuff like that. Trying to really work in certain ways, but like it makes it look cool.
Yeah.
And that's what inking does too. You try and make things look cool.
Did a good job at it, man.
So you had a chance to, in your awesome career, you worked with someone that we consider one of our friends, Ron Friends.
Oh, Ron. Yes.
Good man.
Yes, Ron's the man.
Now you did that, as I recall, was it Thunderstrike?
Oh, right, Thunderstrike. Yeah, from Thor to Worthy.
Yeah.
I did that. 10 pages. Yeah. It was great working. That was, believe it or not, I think that was the first time I actually worked with him at Marvel.
Okay.
Well, besides when I was inking over his backgrounds when I was working with Mike Esposito on Marvel Team Up, doing backgrounds, but yeah, and being his assistant editor on Spider-Man, but actually touching everything of his, the foregrounds and the backgrounds and stuff like that. Yeah, that was a treat.
And that was a great story, by the way.
Yeah. The Gray Gargoyle.
Yeah.
Come on. I mean, oh my God. It's like I haven't seen that guy in a long time. It's like, what? No, I really enjoy working over Ron. We've done things outside of Marvel, but it was, and he actually called me. He called me up and asked me if I was interested in doing it while I was at the Comic-Con, at the New York Comic-Con.
Oh, okay.
He called me up and asked me if I was interested. I said, "Hell yeah, you got to be kidding," And that would have been my first time working for Marvel in over, like, I don't know, between 15 to 20 years.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been a while. So,
Do you have new project?
Oh, excuse me.
No, go ahead. No, or please.
I was just saying, do you have a new project going on now?
No, my projects right now are basically commissions. So yeah, like it's I do commissions. So right now, this was a weird one. Just finished this, but it was a Groucho Marx.
Of all things.
Yeah,
That's
so
right?
funny.
Isn't that cool? Yeah. So I just did that, and Also did something for the Inkwell Awards. Was Thor. That was drawn by Ron Friends actually.
Oh, cool.
And like this, like they give them out to a bunch of inkers. We all ink the same drawing, like in our own styles and stuff, and then they auction it off, and it helps, like it helps other artists and stuff, like with the money.
That's awesome.
So, yeah. So it's good. Yeah. So and other than that, it's like going to conventions, just really traveling around, like making sure people know that I'm alive and not dead. That was one of the reasons why I got onto Instagram and I started like going to more conventions because they thought that I don't know, that people thought that I died.
Hold on a second. So somehow a rumor got out there that you had passed away.
Yeah.
What is that about?
Well, it's a weird thing because at the time, at that time, well, I was working on the Phantom, and I was working with George Olsen, and what would happen is, we would have our names, and that was something that never happened before either, was to have the pencil and the inker's name on the strip. It was basically Falk who would have his name on there, and that was it. And so it was Olsen Williams. So for some strange reason, and it was terrible that happened, that when George Olsen died, they thought that in some strange connection way that Olsen Williams, that it was like one person that died, and I was part of.
You were next to him or something?
Yeah, I was part of that death. So I found this out from one of my friends who are fans of the Phantom, and said that people overseas did and stuff, I guess. So I said, no, we can't have this. So my friend Jamie, he got my name out there again, and he said, you should be doing more stuff, and people know that you're alive. And I said, yeah, you're right, I did. So so that's why I started going to more conventions and getting more involved in the internet and social media, all that.
But we're glad the internet was wrong.
Yeah, I was gonna, Oren and I will be happy to sing your praises and sing it from the rooftops that you are in fact not dead.
Thank you.
And that we are huge fans. So
thank you.
That
Thanks, Joy.
Helps.
Thanks, Oren. Thank you, guys.
That being said, I'm going to be mindful of your time. I want to thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, hey, it was fun. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, you've been very, very fun to talk to. Thank you so much.
Oh, great. And hi, guys. Hi, everybody else out there.
And he's not dead.
Yeah, go see him at a convention.
Right there. Please go see him at a convention.
Yeah.
And you can look at my Instagram, Keith Williams Comic Book Art.
Okay.
Or you can look at my Facebook, which is Keith Williams. I'll be the guy that has the Phantom ring sticking out at your face when you see my picture. So.
And what's the best way for people to contact you for commissions?
You can DM me either way, either on Facebook or on Instagram. I'll get it. That's those are the ways, and I'll get the messages and we can talk.
Sounds great to me. One
little question for my own knowledge, and I don't have to put this in the video or anything. How do commissions so if someone asks you to commission a piece of work, is it just anything that they want and they want you to do it, or is it stuff that you work on or something like that? Because it always seems like
as you
a bit
see,
presumptuous of someone like, hey, look, do Superman or Batman or something. Like, well, I didn't do that, like.
Right. As you can see, I did Groucho.
Right. Well, that's what I mean. That's why I asked. I was like, well,
they but sometimes you do what you want to do, and that'll be fine with me. But a lot of the times they would ask, oh, could you do Spider-Man, or can you do? And then like you could do Spider-Man any way you want, you know, like however way you want. Spider-Man with Gwen Stacy together, anything, you know, like you know, like Superman, or can you draw a portrait of my face, you know, and which I've done a few times, and you know, it's like every one of these things is like a surprise, and you know, like it's like a challenge, I guess, you know, because you never know, and once they ask you and tell you what they want, I'm there searching for reference, and you know, trying to make sure, you know, what year, what costume, you know, like what, you know, like how do you, you know, like how do you want this person to, you know, like look, you know, because everybody has in their mind what they think is like, you know, like the best,
Right.
like Iron Man outfit, armor, you know, like what was the best way, you know, Spider-Man was, you know, like drawn, or you know, like Superman in his trunks or out of his trunks, or you know,
Right.
you know, like
Or Groucho Marx.
or Groucho Marx.
You know, the kids love him.
Yeah.
Yes, the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Yeah, but yeah, but yeah, and you know, I get every one of them is a challenge, which is good.
That's awesome.
It makes me work, you know, like hard, and you know, like I always want to, I just want to do the best, you know, like I can when I work on these, when I work on the commissions.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Well, thank you again so much.
Yeah. So that was our interview with Keith Williams. Isn't he really cool? He's one of the few guys that we talked to that we still keep in touch with after we've interviewed him. Really nice guy. You know, anytime that something comes up, he's always like saying hello, wishing us well, whatnot. Very cool person that we talked to.
Yeah, I was going to echo that exactly. Just someone, you know, we'd love to sit down and talk to more, meet him in person. He's always out there at cons. So if you have the opportunity in the, you know, New York tri-state area and you get to see him and meet him, please go out there, do so. This is an awesome, awesome guy.
Sweet guy. Love the interview. Always love to hear when we're talking to the sort of journeyman kind of artists and writers, you know, the unsung heroes, so to speak. So great to hear from Keith Williams, and yeah, keep, you know, make sure you look him up and visit him at cons, and just give him a, you know, give him a little shout. I'm sure he'd enjoy to hear from you. But that'll do it for this episode of Dollar Bin Bandits. As always, we are on YouTube, Dollar Bin Bandits. You may be watching us now. We are also on every podcast platform. Check us out. We are on social media. Have you heard of it? I'm sure you have. Facebook, Dollar Bin Bandits. Instagram, Dollar Bin Bandits. Twitter, DB Bandits. And of course, the old-fashioned way, send a smoke signal. Just kidding. Send an email to dollarbinbandits@gmail.com. We want to hear from you. Let us know what other guests you want to hear from. Let us know what guests you want to have. We should have back. So please rate, review, and subscribe. And we will see you next week.